Plants are living beings just like human beings and animals. Different type of plants grow in different places. They adapt themselves to survive in different areas. Different adaptations are special features that allow a plant or an animal to live in a particular place called its habitat. According to their habitat, plants can be divided into two major groups: terrestrial plants, land plants, aquatic plants, water plants. Uses of plants. Plants are useful for man in numerous ways. We get food from plants. We eat fruits, vegetables, cereals, pulses, roots, nuts, spices, etc. Plant fibers like cotton, jute, flax, etc. are used to make clothes, carpets, and ropes. Stems of bamboo plant are used to make paper, basket, huts, furniture, walking sticks, etc. Wood of trees like shisham, teak, sal, etc. is used to make furniture, doors, windows, etc. Some plants like tulsi, cinchona, neem, etc. are used to make medicines. Gum and rubber are also obtained from plants and are used to make tires and other things. Terrestrial plants. Plants that live and grow on land are called terrestrial plants. We find different kind of plants in different areas, like mountains, forests, plains, and deserts. These places have different soils and climatic conditions. On the basis of the type of soil and climatic conditions of a place, terrestrial plants can be categorized as follows: plants in deserts, plants in hills, plants in marshes, plants in plains. Plants in deserts. Deserts are hot and dry. They have high temperature and receive very little rain. To obtain water from the soil and to prevent water loss, plants growing here have the following features. They do not have any leaves or have very few of them. In such plants, photosynthesis is carried out by the green stem. They have spine or thorn-like leaves. They have thick and fleshy stems that can store water. They have long roots that go deep into the ground to absorb water. Some common plants found in deserts are cactus, prickly pear, date palms, etc. Plants that grow in hilly areas and mountains adapt themselves to survive in cold conditions. They have needle-like leaves with waxy coating. They have sloping branches which help snow to slide off easily. These trees have cones instead of flowers. That is why they are called coniferous plants in hills. Trees that retain their leaves throughout the year are called evergreen. Trees such as pine, cedar, fir, deodar, etc. are some of the examples. Trees that shed their leaves in the winter season and bear them again in spring are called deciduous plants. Trees such as oak, maple, birch, etc. are some examples of deciduous trees. Plants in marshes. Marshy places have sticky and clayey soil and plenty of water. Such areas are also called swamps. The roots of the plants growing in marshes are unable to get air. Therefore, the roots of these plants come out of water in some places so that they can breathe. Such roots are called breathing roots. Mangroves, especially the Sundarban mangroves, are examples of such plants. Plants in plains. The climate in plains is neither too hot, as in deserts, nor too cold, as in hilly areas. Plains receive a moderate rainfall. The trees here have thin and broad leaves so that they can capture a lot of sunlight to make their food. Both deciduous and evergreen plants grow in the plains. Trees such as mango, banyan, neem, etc. shed their leaves in winter. These are called deciduous trees. Trees such as coconut, rubber, etc. do not shed their leaves in winter. They are called evergreen trees. Aquatic plants. Plants that live and grow in water are called aquatic plants. Aquatic plants grow in ponds, rivers, streams, and lakes. There are three types of aquatic plants. They are floating plants, fixed plants, underwater plants. Floating plants. Floating plants float freely in water. To float easily in water, these plants have the following features. They have small and light bodies that can float. Some plants have spongy and air-filled stems. This makes them light enough to float easily. For example, water hyacinth and Wolffia plant. Fixed plants. These plants have roots that are fixed to the bottom of ponds, but most of their vegetation is above water. They have long, hollow, flexible stems with broad and flat leaves that float on the surface of water. The upper surface of their leaves have a waxy coating. The stomata enables them to absorb air. Lotus and water lily are examples of such plants. Underwater plants. These plants remain completely underwater. They have narrow and thin leaves and a flexible stem that offers little resistance to water currents. They breathe through their body surface and do not have stomata. Hydrilla and Vollissenaria, tape grass, are examples of such plants. Non-green plants. Some plants like mushrooms, toadstools, etc. do not have the green-colored pigment called chlorophyll. They are called non-green plants. Unlike green plants, they cannot make their own food. Parasitic plants. They have adapted themselves to absorb food from other plants. Such plants are called parasitic plants. Bracket fungi grow on tree trunks and absorb food from trees, while the dodder plant coils itself around other plants and sucks food and water from them. Venus flytrap and pitcher plant trap insects with the help of their leaves. Such insect-eating plants are called insectivorous plants. They derive nutrients from the insects that they trap.